Hi everyone, this is Monsi and I'm just here doing another Smashbook Process video. And I'm going to start off by using this Slim and Lush collection by Studio Calico. This is one of my favorite paper pads now. I am just absolutely in love with the colors and all of the patterns. They are just gorgeous. So I ended up taking out a few papers here, and I'm also going to be using this postcard, and I thought I was going to be using that vellum paper, but I don't end up using it. And then I also am going to pull out this music sheet paper from the Maggie Holmes, and I'm going to be using that as my background paper. And then I also here I'm going to take out a cream colored cardstock. It was the scrap that I had laying around, so I decided to use it. But I do end up cutting it just a little bit. And I also, you saw me take out my double-sided tape. I think it's from Scotch, but I've had that thing for the longest time, and I figured that I might as well use it. So here I'm just going to try to decide what pictures I want to use on this layout. Usually I pick out my pictures beforehand, but here I kind of started with that paper pad because I knew I wanted to use that paper pad. And I think I thought I was going to use this picture from the Truckee River, but I don't end up using that one. I just end up making this page about me and my boyfriend. So this is when I decide that I want to mat this picture onto this white, well, this cream colored cardstock. And I do not, this one I realize that I don't want to use more than one picture, that just one picture will do here. And I'm just trying to arrange my pattern papers how I want them to be. And this is essentially what my page consists of, especially, well, other than the embellishments and all the die cuts. And I do end up using quite a bit of die cuts on this page, which I was very pleased with because I do have a ton and I want to get through them before I start purchasing more. And then I use this little paper clip from Carte Postale, which is a basic gray collection. It is usually all about traveling, that collection, but I just use this one with the arrows on it. And then I'm just going to go through my, I think these are the Heidi Swapp die cuts. I think they are from the Make Pretty Things collection. And I do take out two different sizes of doilies. I just end up using these little 4-inch ones though. I don't think you can ever have too many doilies. I am absolutely in love with doilies. So now that I have pretty much all of the embellishments and all the die cuts that I want, I'm going to start adhering things down. And usually this is what I do, is I just put one strip of tape just to ensure that, you know, if I need to pull it up I can, or if I'm going to put stuff behind it that I can. So that's what I usually do with my tape. And then I'm going to use some India ink here, and I'm just going to splatter it around my page. I do take my heat tool to it, but I get so impatient that I just end up dabbing it with a dry baby wipe. And it does kind of make it look a little bit more messy, but I was perfectly fine with that. And then I just end up cutting up this paper because I know it's not going to show, and I definitely could use these papers on different layouts. Like I said, I am in love with these papers, so I want to get the most out of them. And that postcard, it is a very, very nice quality postcard. It is a very thick cardstock, but that came in the Seven Gypsies collection. In one of their like paper packs. I don't know what they call it, but I thought my mat was looking kind of plain, so I decided to take out another piece of paper from the same collection, the Lemon Lush. And I apologize in advance if you can hear my my family in the background. And then at this point I realized that those papers, those patterns are getting drowned out and they're all kind of all becoming one, I feel like. So I decided to start outlining it with just some black gel pen. And I do this to all my pieces of paper and some die cuts as well. And like I said, it's very messy. I just kind of sloppily do it. But I usually don't usually do this with my layouts, but I really liked how this one turned out, so I think maybe I will be doing more outlining or more distressing on the sides with my pattern papers, because I really liked how this page turned out, like I said. And I still feel like that mat is kind of, I don't know, like kind of plain, I guess. So I decided to take out yet another piece of paper from the Lemon Lush collection, and I just kind of cut that out. But I actually just end up using the other side to it, which is just white. Which, if I had thought in advance, I would have used just a scrap piece of paper, but I really liked how this turned out, so I thought it just made everything pop. And now I'm just gonna start fiddling with my die cuts, finding their homes for them. And the majority of the time I do start adhering once I know that that's where it looks good. So except for a few things, like my picture, that's the last thing usually to go down. And in this case, it's that cluster that's the last to go down. So then I just take this Heidi Swapp vellum, and that's where I'm going to put it right on top of that little note card. And I really want to use this hexagon vellum paper, but I end up using it as a background, so kind of gets used. And you're going to see me mess around with this tag quite a bit, and it says, "I'm always thinking of you," and I do outline it, but it takes me forever to put that down. And then I'm just going to put some score tape on my picture and adhere it down finally onto that postcard. Excuse me. And like I said, I'm just adhering these guys down already. But I don't think this layout took, I think it took a little bit over an hour. I can't exactly remember. And then this is also something that I never do, and that is bring up slightly the pieces of paper. I've seen a lot of people do it, and you know, a lot of people are very, very good at layouts, but you know, I kind of consider myself an amateur at this point. So I just go with the techniques that I know. So like I said, that's not something that I usually do on my layouts, but like I said, I always like to try new stuff, and this turned out for the better, I guess. And finally I decided just to put this down, that little tab that had been driving me crazy. And then as I was going through my stash, I found this wood veneer. I believe it's from Studio Calico, and I previously was going to use it on another page, so I had embossed it with a very pretty pale pink color. But I did not end up using it, and it matched perfectly on this page, so I decided to use that. And then I also end up taking out my snap stickers, as you see here, and I end up finally using these little people here on this page, and I thought it fit perfectly as well. And I've heard people call them many different names. I think the most common I've heard is potty people, because that's usually the sign that it has on bathrooms. And then I also use this best ever phrase on here, as well as I take out a couple more, another font. I think it's from Amy Tangerine. You'll see it here in a second. This one, Amy Tangerine Thickers. I think it's called Goodness, and I also use that one as well. I think those two colors go very, very well together. And then I just take out this roller stamp from Studio Calico to put on the date. And some, I think that's Vintage Photo Distress ink. That is one of my favorite distress inks. And then I take out these stickers. These I got at Target. I think they were only $1 each, but I use a couple of little banners, and then I also take out some enamel hearts. Oh, but first I have to mess with this paper clip, which finally get the way I want it, and it doesn't look the way I want it to. So I switch it up again. There you go. Finally get it the way I want it. So, and this is where I take out my enamel hearts. I think the This one is called like Date Night. I can't remember the brand name though. CN Crafts. And I do use a couple of those on here. A few of those, I think. So I really, really like those yellow enamel hearts. Those are so cute. And then here I also take out some Dear Lizzie stickers, I think they are. And then I use this really, really pretty rose. And this is where I use that hexagon pattern vellum from Heidi Swapp. And I didn't want all those layers to show through the rose, so I ended up mounting the rose onto that. There, you can see here, that vellum paper. And I thought it worked very, very well. And then I do end up taking a couple other flowers from the same collection. And I think that was pretty much all that I did. So there are some still photos at the end. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed.